NCRP Productions presents Torg Eternity by Ulisses Spiele. The Breifne Crown, Episode 1.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a Sunday of Possibilities. My name is Greg, and I'll be GMing the tour game today. I'd like to take this time and have the players introduce themselves, starting to my left.
I'm Shan, and I'm playing Azrael, the cyber witch from the cyber papacy Cosm.
Hi, this is Barry. I am running Maxwell Garrett Elite. Max to my friends. I am a freedom fighter. I am part of the race from Tharkold.
Hello, this is Victoria. I am playing Iara Bay, the elf necromancer from Aysle.
Hello everybody, this is David. I'm playing Elias Strode, the Sacrum chaplain from Arosh.
And sadly, Tori will not be joining us for this session. Her character, the monster hunter from Orosh, is out, so we will make do with that. Our last session, we created characters and did a slight introduction to the characters and Mr. Jones, your contact within the Delphi Council. And he had requested you all to meet in Iceland. So over the past couple of days throughout this week, your characters one by one have been showing up at the Iceland base of the Delphi Council, all except Max. When you left the Tharkold, you arrived there with Mr. Jones.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you've been there for about 3 weeks as he left and went to different cosms recruiting a team, and you've been training with the Delphi Council.
Oh, so I've been there for 3 weeks. Everyone
Yes.
else is joining me.
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm still in...
You're going to be the newest to arrive because you were technically the last he recruited.
Gotcha. But are they coming to me or am I going to them?
What was requested is when you're ready to leave, to instruct Agent Smith and Agent Wilson that you were ready, and then they would arrange transportation.
Okay, gotcha. I thought that they were coming to me so we could check out the new, group of humans coming into.
That's what he recruited you for, but what they tell you is that he has a team that the reason why you were hired is to be able to lead the team through. So basically be the guide.
Okay. So I have to go there first.
But you have to go there first.
Okay, got it.
So when you let the agents know that you're ready to leave, you travel with them over to Sligo Bay. By this time, everyone else has arrived on Iceland, and there is a small, basically like a motorboat that's waiting. So Sligo Bay is actually a mixed zone of core Earth and Isle, but they tell you that they don't want to bring in anything larger than what's called a destroyer. You don't know what the hell a destroyer is, because they don't want to attract dragons. The last couple times that they've brought in some of the big frigates and battleships, dragons have attacked, and they can actually sink a warship.
Nice.
That's how badass dragons are. So they roll you out, and you come up. I mean, obviously you know what a boat is,
Yes.
but what you see is a modern-day destroyer from the British Navy, and this is something that you have never seen before. It is, hard steel, metal, and wondering why this damn thing doesn't sink, with multiple people on board, just massive tubes that, not really sure what they are, but, and like things moving and spinning and different types of lights, that there's no fire, and it's clear that this isn't magical. Over in Isle, one of the things is because their tech level is so low, they don't require technology to be able to do the things, so they don't need chemotherapy to cure cancer. They have magic.
Gotcha.
They don't need drills to dig a well. They have magic. And serfs.
Gotcha.
So this is something completely foreign and new to an Eilish character that has never seen this type of tech before.
I'm trying to remember. Historically, it's either an Irishman or a Scotsman that was called Mad Iron. And he's the first one that creates an iron sailing vessel. And they all expected it as he was riding it into the waters as they launched it. They expected it to sink, and it didn't. So, and that was 18, somewhere between 1820 and 1870.
Was it like the first ironclad or something?
No, not even that.
Way
Just
before
an
that?
iron bottom boat.
Because they're all wood.
Yeah, up to that point, they're all wood, and the ship makers are all in those areas. So,
And one of the things for propulsion is there's no oars. So Aysle is familiar with Viking longships and oar-driven propulsion, but this definitely has no oar holes for the oars to come out.
I'm very hesitant. Is that safe?
You kind of hear some snickers from the agents, and they're like, it's perfectly safe, don't worry.
All right. And I very cautiously, is there like I'm assuming some kind of ramp to go up to it?
No, because you're going from basically a motorboat, a jet boat, to the ship.
Gotcha.
And so on the side of the ship is stairs, so you're going to have to climb the stairs.
Okay. I very cautiously walk up the stairs and...
wait, stairs or a ladder?
Ladder, basically,
Ladder.
sorry.
Okay,
so ladder.
I am
Same
very
difference.
uneasy.
Well, it's a new kind of ship
Right.
if it's stairs on the side of the boat.
It's new technology.
I am very cautious through all of this.
Don't even make a roll. You're just going up slow, but your character can climb a ladder.
Yes.
So, you make your way up. And as soon as you're on board, you get ferried over by the agents to your sleeping quarters. And you start the journey over to Iceland.
All right.
So during that time, Elias, you and Eva traveled together, ended up traveling to the same to Kyrgyzstan and flying over. And so you get introduced and told by Agent Jones that he also recruited somebody from the Monstorum Venatorum.
Good.
And so Eva just kind of looks you up and down, sees that you're a chaplain from the Sekelum, doesn't say much, kind of keeps to herself. But, I mean, basically, the Sekelum and the Monstorum Venatorum are the two factions that hunt and kill monsters.
It's almost like she's not here.
Almost as if Eva is not here. And then, Max, you've been there training basically with assault teams. So you've been doing assault strikes your entire life. And so they are definitely interested in gaining tactics from Tharkholds. And then you're also being introduced to small unit tactics that the Delphi Council has discovered and learned and trained while, they've been preparing and being dispatched out to the different cosms or, different hotspots that really get assigned. And can't remember your character's name, Shan.
Azrael.
Azrael. So Azrael, when you arrive, the tech is nowhere near what you're used to. You can see that they're on the verge, but they just haven't crossed over to some of the nanotechnology.
Like I have a smartphone and they have a Motorola Razr.
Basically, yeah. Exactly.
I like that phone, by the way.
Me too.
Favorite phone of all time.
You have the Mac Airbook, and they have the big block,
The
Mac
big
2.
old, tube,
Yes.
big old blocks monitors.
Apple IIc.
Yeah, the first, I think they still call it the first iMac. It had the different colors.
Yeah.
Like orange and lime green and all that, but it was like the big CRT monitor.
Looks like
We had a green one.
Brought your homework to school on a floppy disk.
And big, by the way,
Exactly.
is air quotes, because that screen, I think, was 12 inches or 9 inches. It was not 17, 20,
No.
26,
It was
the size
more
of a wall.
Big as in
Yeah.
a block.
Our
But
the U.S.'s
round.
missile defense system still runs on a floppy disk. I just watched a documentary on it. Yeah, they have a floppy disk that's like this big that they put in the.
Oh, the old 5, what were they, 5 1/4s,
Yeah.
right?
The big ones, yeah.
Yeah. I suppose that would be more safe. It's harder to hack, maybe.
It's a lot harder to hack, but boy, they're easier to mess up.
Yeah, that's true.
So as you guys are getting acclimated to Core Earth's reality and starting to meet some of the other members of the Delphi Council and some of the strike team members, you get told by Jones, he seeks each and every one of you out, that the last member of the team who's going to be the guide for this upcoming mission is en route, and tomorrow morning you'll be briefed for the mission.
And in the meantime, what are we doing?
In the meantime, whatever it is that your character is going to do, like what seems to be the most fitting. So there's a chapel there. It's not to the Sekelum, but it's non-denominational.
Parthenon.
So there is just you can relax. Yeah, those are cool dice.
They're glow in the dark.
Okay, so relax or continue training. Just whatever it is. If you want to start training or start learning some of the tactics or getting to know some of obviously you get pointed out or told different team members. You don't necessarily get introduced specifically by Jones, but other people on the base end up telling you, that's going to be one of your team, and points them out. So it kind of just depends on what your characters do.
That's Korth's tech level higher than Aurors's.
Yes,
Aurors's
it
is
is.
18.
So the highest is the Cyber Papacy at 26.
26.
Pan Pacifica is at 25. Core Earth is at 24 tech.
Well, so I'm wondering, if they've got a higher technology level, do they have the ability to, enhance my crossbow bolts and maybe put different types of tips on them or something like that? Maybe some that explode, some that maybe subdue, I don't know. Is that something that is within their means to fabricate?
No, they don't have anything like that at the base or, set up for, any type of crossbow bolt. If you want a nice broadhead, they can give you that.
Got those, I guess. Oh, okay. What about this guy Jones? So, you Samuel Jackson.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So are your characters making an effort to try to introduce each other, to try to find out, talk to each other, anything like that?
If I don't see him in the training room, no.
Azrael.
I'm wandering around and checking everything out. Because, I just got here from the Cyber Papacy realm. Went to Brazil, and now I'm in Iceland. That's a lot of change.
Really fast.
I'm eating the food.
Food's fine. I mean,
That's
food's
what
actually
I'm
good.
doing.
Yeah, I
Better
was
than-
wondering about that too. For me, do you envision the race basically always being at starvation level?
I see the race as being feast or famine. And so if it gets a successful raid on different foodstuffs, then they eat well.
So that would be the other place it would be. Whenever there's chow time, I'm there for the entirety of the serving, eating.
Committing gluttony.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be cut. That's for darn sure. Not
You
at
look
the
like a
beginning
human,
of this.
right? Or you're
Yeah,
basically
I'm
human,
human.
right? Oh.
I'm absolutely human.
Okay. And you're an elf.
I think I'm the only one that's not human.
Now, do you have obvious cybernetic parts? Do you have don't you have like a cybernetic arm or something like that?
Like my right arm from my elbow to my fingertips is
It's robotic.
It's
To me, it
robotic.
looks like a robot. Maybe if I know what a robot is. Victorian age, I don't think we understood robots, but it's definitely a point of awe to see. Do you usually have it covered up, or do you just? And just kind of walk around and it's kind of letting everybody know that there's something special going on with you.
Well, my hand sticks out of my sleeve, and I'm assuming for an Iceland, might be a little chillier up here than I'm used to in Brazil. Depending on where I was in Brazil, I guess. But if you can see my whole arm, it looks like if someone's got like a prosthetic limb from an amputation, but 50, 60 years in the future compared to normal Earth with technology, like how far it got.
The desecration of your body's temple is intriguing.
I don't see it as desecration. It is closer to holiness.
I ponder that.
Very good. Anything else, Brother Elias? Does he prefer Chaplain Elias, Brother Elias, Father Elias?
Just goes by Elias.
Okay.
He'll respond to if someone's like father or if someone refers to him as priest, something that might identify him, as his station or whatever. He might just gonna look, but he pretty much just goes. But people that know him call him Elias.
Okay. Is Elias doing anything, trying to seek out your teammates that are?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about the, is it he, she?
She.
Sorry.
The woman with the metal hand. I would probably want to be curious about how that integrates with the human flesh, and how you're able to wield it. The whole connectivity of it's beyond my reasoning. So
It's connected to my nerves like a normal hand would be. It's just enhanced with cybernetic abilities.
do you feel pain when it gets damaged?
Yeah.
Interesting. It's very cool. I would probably want to arm wrestle you and to see, what it was like. Does it have superhuman strength? Is it like
No,
pneumatic?
it enhances my ability to cast magic.
Ah,
That's
oh.
all.
It's a magic glove.
About this time when you guys are, talking, the training team comes in for chow, and one of them is this huge, just monstrous guy. He doesn't fit the mold of your typical strike team. Your typical strike team is going to be 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot, 150 to 180. Definitely more along the lines of fit and agile. But Max comes in, and he is just this monster of a man. So, Max, can you just go and describe your character again?
Yeah, so he is pretty much any of the flesh that you're going to see is going to be scarred up. His hands, specifically around his knuckles, are severely scarred in straight lines. Large man, hair cut to basically short, maybe a 1 or a 2, yeah, like he's wearing right now.
The number 1 cross.
Well beyond your standard military cut. Hair gets in the way and can catch on fire. Other than that, I'm reasonably jovial with the people that I work with, and when I sit down to eat, I just eat and eat and eat.
You also know from just getting on Reykjavik, into Reykjavik, the place that you're actually in Reykjavik, and you're at Core Earth North Atlantic Naval Command, and so everyone just calls it the Nance.
Now, outside of what our interaction with Mr. Jones, do we know anything, or have we been part of previous Delphi missions, or this is all new to us?
So everybody here, not necessarily in character, but out of character, you've all been just recently recruited. You are new recruits to the Delphi Council.
That is a man that's seen combat.
And you know that he's supposed to be part of your team.
Oh.
Just like I said, through rumors and people talking and whatnot.
Word got around.
Exactly. I mean,
And he sticks out like a sore thumb, so it's not like we could have missed him.
So
as do you.
He's kind of a
As
Hulk
do
of a
you.
guy.
Robot arm girl.
Yeah.
You walk up to the big muscles and be like, oh wait, it's no speed work, huh? But glad you're on our side.
You gonna threaten to arm wrestle him too?
No, I don't think so. No, that's probably not a good idea. I think he kind of, his stature kind of speaks for itself. Not to say that yours doesn't, but
I roll my eyes super hard.
You do have a metal hand, right? And he looks quite capable in that he's seen his fair share of experience. Look at the scars. That's admirable.
I'm just eating. If anyone's talking to me at the table,
Yeah.
I'm talking back. But I've been here for 3 weeks, so I
thought you went
You've
over
got a
to him.
routine.
Yeah, I went over and I'm admiring. He doesn't have these.
Oh yeah,
huge muscles.
so he walks
Yeah,
over
but
to
he's
you.
not talking to me.
Oh, okay.
I made a comment.
Yeah.
If you say anything back,
I did not.
You're just eating.
You're just
Still.
giving us your inner monologue about
Right.
what
Yeah,
you
yeah.
think of his physical appearance.
We're going to be spending a lot of time together. I just want to make sure we start off on the right foot.
That awkward moment as Max kind of looks up, eyes the two of you, and just keeps eating.
Well, I'm from an age. I'm from Victorian age, where a lot of this stuff that I'm experiencing now is the first time, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Like,
God,
I've never
yeah.
seen this. This is very strange to me. I'm like, wow.
Prosthetics were big pieces of metal rod and wood.
Wood, yeah.
Like a literal peg leg, like pirates with
yeah,
a leg. Yeah.
Like an elf? You kidding me? Right? I'm trying to just rationalize that in my head, like for real. And the parts of stories and stuff like that. It's a real elf. Probably afraid. Might be Union. I don't know. Maybe I'm not supposed to talk to her. Or him. Not sure. But it's cool.
So if you guys end up, kind of just doing nothing further, the day goes on, and then in the evening time, your ship comes to port. So when you pull into port, it is a military port. So that, just imagine that with other ships that are docked, including some big, even bigger, just larger warships. And just, off a port, kind of moored out to the ocean, ready for deployment, is even a carrier. So just this huge, big, floating city with, metal creatures, like dragons, but fixed wings. And so it's, I can only imagine what
What
she
have
feels.
absolutely no idea what that stuff is. I asked one of the other people on the boat, what is that?
Those are fighter planes.
Planes?
So like small like drakes.
Oh.
And so as a matter of fact, a couple of our pilots have gotten to dogfights with drakes.
Do they breathe fire?
Hellfire. You hear kind of some snickers as like, quit being an asshole. Like, well, they shoot a missile. It's a Hellfire missile.
Oh. Okay, I guess I'll have to see those in action before I can understand that more.
I admire that they're still using museum pieces, because where I come from, they're all self-flown.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like those boats,
As a destroyer docks, they ferry you out. Jones meets you on deck, and you end up to base together.
I'm still very cautious on the boat. Even though I've come a long way on the big boat, I'm still very cautious.
So Jones is like, "How was the ride?"
It was different.
I guarantee you that your teammates are going to feel that way when they enter into your homeland.
All right.
So you guys just kind of like making small talk as you start walking up. You know, if you ask any questions about exactly what you're hired for, any details, he cuts it off and just says there'll be a briefing later this evening.
All right. I'll follow him up.
So about 5 o'clock is you guys start hearing a bustle about the base as the agent in charge, Jones, is returning with the final member of the team.
I don't know if it's been shared with us, but as members of this team, are we serving individual roles for this mission, or are we just the best candidates for the job as far as survivability goes?
The guy that you're asking, he's like, man, whatever Jones put together for, what you guys are here for, what is your specialty anyway? What do you do?
Faith.
So, I mean, he accepts it. There's been enough, Delphi Council knows, and enough Cosm where, miracles happening is now a thing.
Miracles are definitely a thing.
He's like, I wish I believed 2 years ago. So, as the base kind of settles down from the initial buzz of Jones returning, you each get a message to be in the briefing room at 1900 hours.
1845. I'm in my seat, up front.
Do we understand that 1900?
I mean, it'd be up to your character.
The whole world uses a 24-hour clock besides America.
He's still using a sundial.
That's right.
He's not the living
Pocket
ones.
watch.
Postal Service uses hundreds, which is very...
Actually, it would be a pocket watch.
Yeah,
that's
pocket
right.
watch. would
You're
be-
probably a sundial.
Yeah, probably.
All right. So I watch the pocket watch when it hits 1900. Then I know to be in the meeting room.
So is everyone there at the prescribed time?
Yes.
So including Eva, she is there as well. And then just to remind everyone, Max, you went over your character. Azrael, would you please describe your character for your teammates and for our listeners?
Okay, I am human. The only thing that is any kind of different about me than other humans is that I've got my right arm from the elbow to fingers is cybernetic. I'm 5'3", long black hair, green eyes, nothing special. I think you made some comment last week that it was like a mix between like being the Matrix and something else. That's my outfit, where it's like kind of half high-techy, half, I don't know what word I want to use, because I am a witch, so I came from like a pagan culture where I came from. But it's...
So you're wearing fetishes, bone pieces, that kind of stuff?
Well,
Trinkets, stuff beaded into your hair, that kind of thing?
yeah.
Okay.
Let's go with that. That works.
All right.
I like that.
Dressed kind of like Trinity from the Matrix?
Yes.
Okay.
So Bo Derek and 10 dressed up to be in the Matrix.
Yes.
Right on.
For clothing, I didn't do clothing. So you'll see me always in jeans, boots, gray t-shirt, and half gloves.
Is there any visible occult tech?
That is a really good question. 2 of them are jacks, so I don't think so. And other than the scars, you're not going to see the razor claws.
You got a high and tight, so your jacks would be visible.
Would they? Okay.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't really describe how they sit. So I've got the rabbit jack, and I've got the, what is the other one? I have the rabbit jack and the frenzy jack.
So I
just
don't
basically. There'll be clips in the side of my head.
I don't see him like the Matrix Jack, back in like in the
plug or something.
right?
Yeah.
But I definitely see it kind of like the Shadowrun Data Jack.
Cyberpunk kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like
Like quarter-inch cable jack into the side of the head kind
the
of
thing
thing.
is, they don't
So
cable to anything.
Johnny Mnemonic.
Ah,
Yeah, but they don't cable to anything. Everything's internal as far as I've seen. I mean, there's nothing that suggests I'm walking around with wires that can be pulled.
No. So, but yeah, like I said, the way I see it is, just basically data jacks.
Okay.
Interesting.
you don't have any kind of like synthetic skin that kind of covers them up, or anything like that. They just got these metal holes in your head.
That's what I'm assuming, yeah, from what you're saying. Are you thinking holes or plugs? Are you thinking basically whatever the tech is for the chode, it's stuck into my head?
That's how I'm envisioning it.
Okay. All right. So there'll be basically not holes, but tacks or rivets or something like that.
Okay.
I'd ask Azrael. Looks like he has some of the same type of intervention in his body like you do, but in different areas.
It does appear so.
And walking in with Jones as the door opens, you see
Iara is a tall elf with long black hair. She has skin similar to a drow, so really darker and grayish. Is wearing a long black cloak with the hood up, and people can't see it, but there are some bones, a couple bones within the inside of the cloak.
So as you guys come walking in, he just says, "Go and have a seat."
I go and sit down.
So, Elias, please describe your character again
Like
for
to
our
be the
listeners.
inconspicuous one that no one notices. Right? So Elias he dresses in this kind of one-piece long, make that reference to the Matrix. I think at one point Neo wore like this one-piece kind of button-down thing that kind of flared out at the bottom. It's kind of similar to what I wear, but it's black wool. And I've got a strange sewn together, looks like patches of different, like a leather-type long coat. It's a strange-looking dark substance, but resembles some type of leather. 6'2", 170 pounds, 34 years old. I wear a black flat-brimmed round hat that, just above the brow. And when I take it off, I've got short-cut black hair and blue eyes and have a stern look most of the time. But I'm intrigued and curious about this new technology that surrounds me.
Are you wearing a bowler, or are you wearing something more like the Witch Hunter?
I don't know what the Witch Hunter wore, but
Solomon Kane, that kind of thing? You've got
yeah,
something that
kind
has
of
a raise
Solomon
to
Kane.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, it's got a raise, and then it's got the flat, round
So
brim.
not a
Yeah.
bowler.
I don't know what a bowler is.
The little round hat that sticks to their head, London Bobbies, that kind of thing?
No.
Okay.
like a derby. This is
I'm
more
wearing
like,
like the flat, yeah, it's like a,
more like Billy Jack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
Oh, and I've got a crossbow that hangs freely, and I have a silver cross that hangs around my neck outside of my vestments.
and then Mr. Jones, or Agent Jones, he's about 6 foot, middle years. Can't quite tell if he's in his 40s or in his 50s. He's got a military cut hair, clearly fit, straight backed, and he just carries an aura of command and authority. So as he takes his place up at the lectern, standing stiff back, looking out, and he says, "You all know who I am, but you may not know who each other are. If you haven't already taken the time to introduce yourselves, I would like you to do that now. But I also want you to very specifically say what Cosm you are from and what assets you bring to the team. I do not want secrecy here, and there may come a time where your survival depends on knowing what your teammate can do."
I'd like to know what assets you're talking about. My
Look,
skills, my knowledge, or my assets. Is that what you're asking?
That is exactly what I'm asking. Your background, where you came from. How exactly did you acquire your skill set? So, please, Max, since you spoke up, thank you for volunteering.
I'm Max. I'm from Tharcold Realm, I think is what you're calling it here. I am part of the race. We have been fighting the war longer than I've been alive there against the demons. I bring knowledge of how to combat them and other incursions.
That definitely perk your ears. Same thing with Eva. Demons.
I'm not certain what else you're looking for.
What is your skill set?
Mine?
Yes.
Destruction.
Very good. Azrael?
I am from what you are referring to as the cyber papacy realm. We have been fighting against the corruption with Malro for years now, and since he decided to stake claim to Brazil, although it being weak, I decided to come down here and fight him about it. As far as my skills, I have some ability to stun and stymie enemies as a support.
You cast spells.
I cast spells, yeah, and I have a mean lightning strike.
Jones looks at you and he says, "In the cyber papacy and the other cosms, they're ruled by a single High Lord and not a council of 9.
So Malro is this singular individual.
He
Yes.
is.
It's
Cyber
vying for
Pope.
power.
They worship a false idol.
And you fight him.
We do.
Welcome.
Father Elias,
Yes.
let your teammates know who you are
Well,
and what you do."
in short, I am a chaplain of the highest order, the Sakelum priesthood. The Gaunt Man destroyed my world, killed my family, and I will not stop hunting him until he is dead or I am.
So in your world, the Gaunt Man is this Malro in your world.
I believe I am scholarly, so in my teachings I believe that the Gaunt Man oversees this Malro of yours. He's one of his underlings who has invaded the world
Jones, I thought you said there was one for each, not a council of 9. If this gaunt man oversees others, there's a council?
It's an alliance. So Malro oversees and rules his own Cosm, but the Gaunt Man has allied with him and other High Lords. The reason why is the possibility Earth on energy is so rich, it would consume the Gaunt Man.
So you think he is in connection with our council of 9 then?
I believe so.
And you believe this gaunt man rules them?
I believe that he is the strongest of all of them, and he is the one that is calling the shots. The reason why we believe that is the invasion from Tharkold was a simultaneous invasion of the other Cosms. That's the reason that is predicating why we believe that this is an alliance.
And so I was also going to add, as far as my skill set goes, I've been granted certain perks from my faith that in a time of need I can call upon to make great things happen.
Wait, what is faith?
Faith is believe
it's
in
a power source?
In a sort. Believe in a higher power, something greater than ourselves.
There is no higher power.
That remains to be seen, and you have much to learn, my friend. I will show you the way, given time. It says I'm also well versed in medicine and healing and first aid.
That will be coming in handy.
I'm going to look over this way. And you believe in this higher power as well?
No.
So you are
I believe
of
in
age.
the power of the circle of life and nature.
But you also know that faith, especially in the cyber papacy, is a very, very tangible thing.
It is, but I feel it is a corruptive source if used incorrectly.
I would concur with that assumption. Although you also have to take note that, where I come from and where you come from a spiritual standpoint, there's a very fine line. The Christianity religion exists and Catholic religion exists in both of our worlds.
Correct. However, in mine, Malro took it over and tainted it into something that it should not be.
He's corrupted the entire religion and its entire congregation?
Not entirely. So a lot of Catholics did not buy into Malro's doctrine, and they've actually formed their own sect of the Catholic Church that fights on Malro.
Right. He's attempting to overtake the entire Catholic population.
Why, I expect he will not be successful.
I sure hope so.
If you could break them of the belief of this higher power, they would be free from Malro.
Good luck.
He looks at Eva, and Eva basically explains that she is also from the world of the Cosm of Aurorsh, and she is not affiliated with the church, with the Sekelim over there. However, she does admit that the Sekelim are renowned monster hunters, but those that wish to provide that service and do not align themselves with the church's doctrine have formed their own sect, the Monstorum Venatorum, and she is a member of that league. And then finally, he looks at you.
I am Iara Bay of the realm of Aysle. I have the ability to cast spells and have some control over the dead. I believe I will be leading you into our first set of mission or whatever we are about to go upon.
You're leading us and you're not certain where we're going or what we're doing?
I don't know what they're calling it.
She was brought in as a guide. She is technically has not consented to be a member of the Delphi Council yet.
Can you expand on this control over the dead that you speak?
I have the ability at times to create skeletons from bones, and as well as create living humans or beasts from their dead bodies.
Unliving beasts.
Unliving beasts.
What can you do with these things?
I can command them to do as I wish.
On our world, you would have much power.
You walk a slippery slope.
There's magic in all things created by nature, and I think it's pretty impressive that she's learned to wield that.
It is impressive.
So one thing that I do wish, and we'll get to this, and it'll be a good time now to go and start, but the laws in the different cosms are not the same, and they oftentimes find themselves at conflict with one another.
What do you mean?
Allow me to brief. Storm Knights. That term is actually an Eilish term. So as this war is ancient and been going on for millennia, the fighters out of Eilish who believe in honor and duty as part of the light and knighthood have dubbed all of those who take the fight and stand up against the High Lords as Storm Knights. I wish we had more time to prepare and orient you with a proper field training program, but this war does not allow us that luxury. You are assembled here because you will be infiltrating the Cosm of Aysle. You will infill at Sligo Bay and make your way undetected into the county of Leitrim. The Delphi Council will arrange to meet you at the beachhead with mounts for your travel and with Eilish weapons if you deserve and Eilish garb. Your primary mission is to investigate rumors of a new church or religion that has formed over there. Iara will be able to attest that there has been an influx of humans into North and Eastern Ireland, and that is highly uncommon since that is Elvish realm. Iara?
That is true.
We at the Delphi Council want to know why. From what we have been able to ascertain from our initial intelligence, new gods or religions are not formed in Aysle without the expressed ascendance of a hero. We have not heard of any new ascendants or any new heroic deeds out of Aysle. And again, that's something that you can attest to.
Aye.
You will learn the origins of these rumors and determine if the Delphi Council will need to intervene with an assault team. You are to reconnoiter only and will only engage in the defense of your own life or the life of your teammates. That is non-negotiable. Once you have met your primary mission objective, you will exfil at Sligo Bay. We will have a destroyer with sub-support waiting for your exfil. Any initial questions at this point?
Time to complete the mission.
As much time as needed.
How are you going to know to be able to exfil at that point?
We will have agents staged at Sligo Beach. You have already met Agents Wilson and Agent Smith.
Aye.
And you said we can get Eilish garb. Is that the only thing?
Our agents there will have Eilish weapons and Eilish garb to help you blend in.
Gauntman's blasphemies know no bounds.
The Gaunt Man has personally taken under tutelage the Dark Lord Uthorian of Aysle. So that's news to you. You just know that he's a bad guy.
Gotcha.
Who is this Uthorian?
Uthorian is the current High Lord of Aysle.
He is our Malro.
Indeed.
There's more than one.
The Lady Ardene.
The equal to Malro. Not at the same Malro, but it is the same concept of what their Malro is.
The Lady Ardene was the ruling leader of Aysle, but through treachery and deception, Uthorian was able to usurp her place. Fortunately, we do have her serving as a member on the Delphi Council. Again, news to you.
And as a player of the old Torg game, that's news to me.
Yeah.
That's a serious change.
Yeah, she actually is on the Delphi Council.
What's her name again?
Lady Pella Ardene.
Pella Ardene?
Mm-hmm.
So she had been the High Lord of Aysle, and then Uthorian took over?
Basically, he possessed her.
Gotcha.
And then when Talwyn of House Tancred was basically Ardene's first knight and protector, she went basically into a coma. And when she finally returned, she went to go visit her friend, but seeing that it wasn't Ardene, and was able to expel Uthorian. But by that time, he already had so much power.
And that's the new story?
Yes.
Because in the old one, what you have is you have everybody following Ardene, who is basically the Queen of Light, not knowing that Uthorian had possessed her.
Interesting.
And that was the twist in the original Aysle. So, interesting changes, Ulysses.
And so our mission objective is to assess and confirm the heretical presence, and then assess a need for intervention by the Delphi Council, not to remedy the heretic.
To reconnoiter and please, and by this he steps out from his lectern. His demeanor changes a little bit as he kind of gets to be more like no longer the commander, but kind of gets to be more of a wise grandfather. He says, but please, be very careful, and you have to open up your thoughts. Aysle is very different. It is probably the most confounding of all of the cosms, because we know what the tenets of faith are, so we can predict certain outcomes. We know where the technology lies and the science behind it, and even though we may not know it from your two worlds, it's still based off of science. That technology has rules. There are no rules in Aysle. Aysle is determined by magic, and the world laws there are very different from any of the other invading realities. Aysle has assumed Earth's folklore and Earth's fairy tales and made them very real. As to explain this, we recently lost assets over in England, another part of Aysle, to 3 anthropomorphic pigs with a war cry of "blow this." You may run into Maid Marian. You may see Jack and his beanstalk. Aysle is that type of world that actually infuses those fairy tales and incorporates it with its own magic to become reality. There is no good and evil in Aysle. So when you speak of heretical acts, it's not laid out by that same doctrine. There's good, there's the light and the dark. And we have seen people of the light commit horrible atrocities to their fellows because they're bound by duty and honor. Here we would call those evil deeds, but it's rewarded over in Aysle. To be quite frank, the person who we recruited to be your guide would be considered of the dark, but she is not evil. She thinks outside of the box. She's creative.
She has power.
She has power, but is not bound by the tenets of the dark to use that power. She chooses to use it to be able to fight the dark.
And you use her power to overcome your enemies.
Yes.
Put yourself in higher position. Strengthen yourself. I understand this completely.
But in Aysle, that would be from the dark. Because...
I then would be from the dark in Aysle as well.
Yes, you would. So again, it is a very, very different concept. Be careful about leaving gear behind. Aysle has a way of infusing it with magic. You may leave a flashlight behind, and when you come back, it could be a magical torch that never extinguishes. Aysle is that type of realm. Iara, anything to add to that?
Rather than good versus bad, it is cause and effect, essentially. You do one thing, something happens. There is no good and bad. That is how I would describe it.
One thing that I will say, though, is that the light and the dark will reward, or may reward, for your actions. So if you, Father, seek to extinguish a heretical church because it doesn't fit within your belief system, that Cosm may see that as an act of the dark and grant you some boon from the dark. So be very careful. Of all the cosms in the invading realities, we know the most of Aysle, but it's the least explained because of the magic involved. Any questions to that?
No.
You are only requesting us to get information, nothing more. We bring no one back with us.
Nothing more. This is to reconnoiter and assess the threat level of this church.
And does the church have a name?
We do not know. We don't even know if this is a church. We don't know if it's a cult. We don't know if it's a ploy of the dark. That's why we're seeking you in. What we do know and can confirm, humans sojourning into Ireland has not been done before because of the ironclad presence of the elves there.
And Iara, you know where this church is?
I do not know where the church is. However, I know where the general area of where the large group of humans have been pilgrimaging.
And these humans come from your realm?
Humans within Aysle.
So humans from your realm?
That is correct.
Yes.
Like humans coming over the bridge, or humans that were originally here before the bridge?
Humans that were from core Earth but have transitioned into Aysle's reality.
I have been in this area since the bridge came down, and I have not seen this since it started happening recently.
I think that's quite odd.
Indeed. That's why we're sending you, the Zulu team.
Is there a locale? How are we going to be positioned in relation to any of the stele or maelstrom bridges that may be in the region?
You'll be far from them.
Good.
However, you will be close. Not quite on the border, but close to the stronghold of the dark. Belfast in Northern Ireland has become the seat of the dark within Ireland, and Sligo and Leitrim are south of it, but more mid-North Ireland.
So this Uthorian lives in, you said, Belfast?
That is the city where he has established his hold.
And how close to Belfast will we be being dropped off?
You'll be inserting at Sligo Bay, and that is, he gives you the kilometers, I don't know right offhand.
And we will be using a wheeled vehicle or some kind of aircraft to reach our destination?
You'll be inserted by vessel, by the destroyers. We can't risk to bring anything further. It also happens to be a very damned large dragon that is fond of attacking our ships.
So then wheeled vehicles.
Once you are on Sligo Beach, we will have mounts, horses, that will be used for transport.
Isle does not have these contraptions that I came across in.
I have not ridden a horse. I have not ridden a horse ever.
The technology in Aysle, the Axiom would not support the technology of a vehicle.
And a horse is a vehicle in your world.
A horse is a means of transportation, yes.
It's a beast
It
of
is an
burden.
animal, but it is our means of transportation. We do not have ships and these engines that they have
You
described
do not
to
have
me.
ships, so you have no way to cross water
We
other
have
than
boats.
to swim?
We have boats, but we do it by manual oaring. There's no engines. This is what they described what was on that boat. There are no engines in my realm.
The magic that propels these metal ships is very foreign to me as well.
It is technology that propels the ships. There is a difference. If there's no other questions, rest well, and may God, or whatever gods that you pray to, protect you. You leave at 0100.
I'll look at the
Oh, good lord.
stopwatch to see when that is.
So it's about 5:30.
That's
It wasn't
early.
a long briefing. Excuse me, it's about 19:30, so it wasn't a long briefing.
Oh.
And with that, he steps out from where he is sitting and walks out the door, leaving you guys in the room. What do you do?
I'm going to retire to my quarters to pray.
Yeah, I just literally get up and walk to my quarters.
Yeah, I'm going goodbye.
Go pick up the food. No food. Yeah, they're out of food. I'm out of here. Yep.
I'll probably grab something to eat
Someone
and
will
then
probably
go to
come get
bed.
me when the time is right.
Yeah, you haven't eaten yet,
Yeah.
so make your way to the mess hall.
Yes.
All that's left is the grape jello and broccoli.
The American
This
cheese.
is weird. Grape jello.
One big block
What is
of American
this?
cheese.
Big block of American cheese.
I was thinking craft singles.
Right.
Some Pop-Tarts.
How do you get it out of here?
Instant oatmeal.
You try to bite it with the plastic on.
That's
This is terrible.
weird.
Cheese in our world is much better.
Gross.
All right. Well, then, if you guys do nothing else, come 0100, you head out to the port and load up on the destroyer, the same one that you were brought in on.
I again very cautiously make my way up. Sit far away from the edge.
I'm curious as to how we will traverse the ocean without attracting the attention of these dragons when a vehicle such as this.
The dragon is not outside of the Isle. It stays within the area of Isle, which does not extend far into the bay.
So one of the sailors that overhears, that kind of stops and jumps in the conversation. He's like, yeah, that damn thing, it seems to be attracted to the bigger ships.
There's only one.
Well, reported that we've seen, only one. Sadly, the sailors that fought that damn beast he sunk all of our ships that went against it.
You've never tried to overcome it? Rockets, lasers, plasma?
Well, we have rockets, but we don't have lasers or plasma yet.
And the rockets do nothing to this beast?
I mean, it pisses it off.
And you said it just attacks when we get too close to Aysle? Are you gonna drop us off in a smaller boat off coast and...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And then you'll be ferried in on a, smaller jet craft.
You say rate of fire.
Is that safer?
Totally safe.
Will the dragon come out if we're in the smaller boat?
Never has yet.
I would like to
Yet.
see this dragon.
He said yet.
No, you do not want to see the dragon.
Yeah, his eyes get big, and he's just like, no, you don't.
The dragon focuses on larger ships than this ship that we are on right now.
Well, if you can't contend with the beast, then why do you call yourselves the Destroyer?
Well, that's the name of the type of ship. So, it's sunk our big frigate warships.
What does it destroy, if not a dragon?
Well, the Destroyer was originally created to combat with maneuverability enemy ships, engaging enemy ships. We're not necessarily meant for surface-to-air combat with a frickin' dragon. That damn thing can breathe fire hot enough to melt the ship.
That is unfortunate. Oh, hopefully our paths will not cross. We will not attract this beast.
That's what the hope is. So he goes back to work as you guys are loading up.
The dragon. Things of fairy tales, silver-tongued minstrels.
It is not a thing of fairy tale. It is reality.
You have dragons where you come from, obviously.
I have seen many.
You ever killed one?
You do not kill a dragon, just one person.
You don't.
No.
Have you seen it taken down? Have you seen one taken down?
I've heard of them being taken down.
By how many?
An army.
An army.
Oh, we are an army of 5.
Lots more than an army of 5.
And if it doesn't fall to rockets, what do you use?
I do not recall what they used. I have just heard the stories of the dragons being taken down.
Mayhaps
they
they
are
haven't been
generally-
taken down and somebody is speaking in bars to
That is a possibility.
raise their stature.
They are extremely effective at what they do, which is kill.
Destroyers. Sounds like a dangerous place we're heading.
How do you live in your land if this dragon is constantly destroying everything?
It's not constantly destroying everything. It only comes out sometimes. It's not always there.
If there are not ships like ours, what brings it out? Is it in connection with your leader? I think he said it was Uthorian.
I'm not sure what it is, what its motivation is when it comes and shows itself. But it does seem to come out when the very large ships are the ones that coming into the bay, which is, again, much larger than the ship that we are on now.
What does it feed on? Maybe it comes out to feed.
I do not know what it feeds on. I think it will feed on anything that it would kill, can kill anything.
So then it eats ships.
I would imagine it eats more a living thing, an animal.
Carnivorous?
Yes. It's going to eat humans or beasts.
Seaman, you there. What does it eat? Does it take parts of the ship when it destroys them?
I've never seen it. We just know the damn things attack and sink it.
And you have no aerial cameras up, no drones flying. You have no way to see the results. You just have been told it went down.
The cameras just catch a big glimpse of something and then bright lights, and that seems to be all it ever catches.
And then it disappears?
Well, the ship disappears.
Huh.
Is there anything left?
Well, I'm sure it is at the bottom of the Atlantic.
Well, everybody keep your eyes up.
Good advice. It's not joking when he says that, but he's like, that's damn good advice.
I'm going to start walking the ship and blessing it as compartment to compartment as I go through
Okay.
for a safe trip, and potentially in case we encounter one of these dragons, that we'll be successful in evading its its dangerous tactics, meeting our demise. So I have holy water that I sprinkle as I go through. All right, and blessing the ship.
You recognize a blessing when you see one, and so don't necessarily know how Azrael would feel about it, but...
I rolled my eyes.
So, the destroyer pulls out, and you're told that it'll take about 6 hours to get to a destination to where you'll get dropped off by powerboat. Anybody do anything during that time? You are given quarters to sleep and rest if you want to, or the galley is. You're told that the galley is open if you want to grab something to eat.
Now there's food again. I will go eat. But then additionally, the other thing I don't get to do much of at my home is sleep. So I will eat for an hour or two and then sleep if somebody is going to wake me.
Oh yeah, I mean they'll
Yeah, sure.
You'll definitely be told when it's time to disembark onto the powerboat and then shuttled in.
I will go for some food as well. This strange food that is different, like the Jello.
Once I get to the galley, right, probably going to take several hours of blessing different compartments of the ship. I'll eat, but then I'll take some extra food and start packing a bag with provisions because I don't know if there's going to be food where we're going.
Okay. Does anyone stay on deck?
No.
Eventually, I will go back up to the top deck because I do. Once we enter into this danger zone, I need to be prepared to bolster our comrades' morale if need be, in case one of these beasts shows up.
Okay.
I still am not believing in a dragon, so I'm going to go to sleep.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, after I get done eating, I'll head back to the deck because I'm still very wary of this boat.
Sounds good.
Do you have religion where you come from, Elf?
As not Johnson, what's his name?
Jones?
Jones. As Jones said, it's more light versus dark. There's some
Good gods and bad gods?
There's gods of light, gods
Yes.
of dark, and there's a few gods of balance.
okay.
What gods do you follow?
I follow the darker side.
Why?
I don't know if you remember, but I raised the dead. That doesn't really
Was
go along
was
with the
something
light
that was
side.
forced upon you at an early age, or something that you chose freely?
I chose it, though it was based on my upbringing. I was born to a noble. Did I miss something?
No, I'm laughing because in my head I'm thinking, and I really didn't have any friends, so I stared making them.
Yeah. From a small town.
I began with mouse
Dragon,
loaves,
it's a dragon running around.
and what was left
Your
from
dog died, so you brought it back.
You know?
I was born to a noble, however, it was out of wedlock, and I was born into squalor despite my parentage. And so it's just kind of the way that I went.
Interesting.
Is Azrael below deck in her quarters?
Yep.
So as you guys are
Minding my own business.
as you guys are talking and just kind of up on deck, getting to know one another, the hours have gone by, and as you're approaching the coast, you can see up in the distance that there seems to be a big bank of clouds, and these clouds are not moving. So that's the first thing that seems weird. And as you look up, and you can see almost like lightning strikes within the clouds, but it's not white lightning. It's flashes of red and flashes of blue as these clouds just kind of constantly boil overhead.
Are we close to land, or is this oversea?
This is oversea right now.
There's a strange storm up ahead. Is that something from your world?
That is concerning. I do not recognize this.
It is
Do I
not.
do I recognize it?
You've seen it like on the off of Sligo Bay.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's not, but you know that it doesn't come into Aysle. It kind of
Okay.
just stays,
Gotcha.
in this area, in that area.
I've seen it, but I have not been near it.
Is it something that we need to be concerned with about standing outside? Should we return to below decks for protection or no?
I think perhaps we should speak to the seamen on deck that have more experience out at the sea.
Are there other people out on deck?
Oh yeah, there's people. Someone always working.
Ask one, say, hey, what is that?
That, my friend, is what's called a reality storm.
Do I know what a reality storm is? Have we come from a different place?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, because you haven't gone out of Aurorsh.
Okay.
And so that is called a reality storm.
They didn't have them in Gaia when the Gaunt Man came through. There wasn't anything like that back then.
Yes, but without knowing the full background, your character may have just been in pure or dominant zones.
Okay.
But just out of character, one of the things that makes a Gaunt Man so powerful is he doesn't expand his zones like the other High Lords. he actually solidifies his zone and makes them pure.
Right.
So it's that's how he kind of gets that plant into the new reality. Is actually starts converting it into a pure Orosh.
Okay. Well, unless they said so, I'm going to ask. So, if we're outside when we move into this storm, this reality storm, are there going to be malevolent effects, or should we, recede into the belly of this iron beast, or are we okay to stay out on deck and witness this phenomenon?
It's like, I don't know. At least I've never been on board when we transported someone from a different Cosm. I'm going to be kind of interested to see what happens.
Are there windows? Have I seen windows in this place as I walk through?
Oh yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna return below decks and find one of those windows to look out of when we sail into this thing. I don't trust it.
So you head back down below decks. What do you do?
I'm going to remain because I'm curious.
Okay. So you stay up on deck. As you get closer and approach it and kind of come under, you can feel the swell start to rise a little bit, and the ship starts rocking. Everybody needs to roll me a d20.
Just
adding
no
anything
ads
to
or
it?
anything?
No ads.
16.
14.
13?
2.
Except for you.
Okay, cool. That's good.
So what this was a deconnection roll. Ultimately, as you enter into a new reality, you needed to roll, and if you roll a 1, you disconnect. So
They're just into like anteaters.
no. But you would
become
no
the
longer.
Aysle reality.
You would potentially then have either the choice to accept the transformation into the new reality, and if you pushed back against that, then you would need to roll to reconnect to yours.
Okay.
And so, as reality rated people, you have the ability to keep your reality about you. So you have the ability to bend the reality of the world that you're in and make it yours, around your personal space.
That's what makes us Storm Knights.
That's what makes you Storm Knights.
Would that roll effectively wake me? Success or not,
he was
would I
sleeping.
be awoken from my sleep?
Actually you
Okay.
would, because you would feel the new reality push in, but just it's like breathing. It's you don't until you disconnect, you wouldn't. If you disconnect, you have the choice.
Right, but not disconnecting. But would I wake up from that?
You very easily could,
Feeling
because you
of
could
change.
you
And I've felt this before coming into core Earth.
yes.
All right, then
Yeah.
I will get up.
And you
Something-
felt it too, but now it's for you. It's like welcome home.
something's wrong, so I'm going to find people.
So you get up and you make your way up on top.
If that's where everyone is, yeah.
So
That's where
I mean,
I am.
there's obviously people below decks, but they're working. They have jobs to do, and no one's just kind of lounging about. It's early morning. It's they're not just hanging out.
I am.
All right.
Up on deck.
Yeah.
Is Iara then just standing around up on deck? Isn't in panic mode, weapons out, that kind of thing.
No.
So I walk up. What happened? Something's changed.
Welcome to Aysle.
I'm going to watch the ocean.
So as you start watching the ocean, you look up. I mean, one of the first things that you see is what I described: just rolling storm clouds that are just flashes and interlaced of reds and blue.
Your
But the
world is
clouds
very
don't
different
move.
than ours. Very different.
And as the light sunset starts coming up, you can see off in the distance as you start approaching the island of Ireland.
Again, welcome to Aysle. Sligo Bay is just ahead.
About 7 o'clock in the morning, the destroyer anchors off the coast. It's still a couple miles off the coast, but you can definitely see the land. And the people on the ship will come in and gather everyone and says, it's time, Storm Knights. And he says it with respect, and he says it's
And this is an underling. This isn't Jones.
no. Yeah, he's not. He didn't board, but this is just a seaman.
I make my way down to the small boat.
I will follow.
I will as well.
Yep, the
We're all there.
power boat's lowered down, and basically a ladder that goes down to it, and
The stairs?
the stairs, the escalator.
This is as far as we could go with the large ship. We can't get any closer. We have to take this small raft.
Well, it's not a raft. It's actually a nice inboard jet boat. But yeah, this is about as far as we dare go in further. Like we said, and as he's talking, he's looking at the skies. He's like,
looking
we
at the
dare not
skies.
go any further because we just don't want to track that damn dragon.
I still don't believe in the dragon, but as fearful as all these guys are, I will watch the sky.
Yeah, something has them spooked.
Right, and I can feel that. I mean, that rolls off them. Like I said, I don't believe in something like this. What I'm beginning to think is it's a demon, but I'm not saying that. I'm beginning to think it's just a large demon, and they've misunderstood what it was.
And that makes sense, especially coming from your world. All right, so as the boat motors up, they start cruising down. The person running the boat, you can see like as swell's coming in, he heads straight into him, lowers that engine, just powers through on the top of the swell, just kind of climbs down. It's not a very comfortable ride. But he handles it very smoothly. You can tell that, even in a new Cosm, somebody, he makes this look easy, whereas somebody else who didn't really know this would probably have sunk a powerboat in the ocean by now.
I look at Iara. Is Iara's like dress, meaning like the garb that you wear, is it medieval? Is it like a fantasy kind of thing? Like you're wearing like, leathers and, things like that? Or is it more contemporary where you've got,
It's more fantasy.
Fantasy, it's interesting. Dragons, the way you're dressed. Will there be...
Like Lord of the Rings?
Right.
Well, more, because I'm from the dark side, so more like Game of Thrones.
Interesting. Will it be safe to assume that we'll be encountering people that are covered in metal shields and armor of the medieval times, and riding on horses with large lances, and feasting in halls where they throw the bones on the floor?
We do not throw bones on the floor. We're not. We do ride horses, however.
We're not Vikings.
Yeah.
So as you guys get closer, you are now entering the Aysle Cosm, and the Aysle axioms are in play, and everybody is getting their Cosm card.
So, are there certain cards that have to be played immediately? Like this card that you gave us, you describe to us again what this card represents?
So, the Cosm card is a playable card when you're into that Cosm, depending upon what the card reads. Some can be played immediately, some are played or triggered if certain events occur.
Yeah, some say play immediately, like we had in Pan Pacifica.
Mine says, Fickle Magic, play immediately when drawn. The first player character who rolls a mishap while casting a spell has the opposite of the intended effect instead. GM's call. All Storm Knights gain one possibility once the effect triggers. If there are no spellcasters in the party, draw a new Cosm card.
Well, we have two.
Right, so that one is being played.
I also have a question about mine. It says, if the law of enhancement triggers, play this card to allow any item, regardless of axiom, to benefit from the effect of magic. How would I or somebody trigger the law of enhancement?
So
enchantment. Sorry, I can't read.
So game mechanics, the law of enchantment. If you do something that reaches a 60 die roll result, it triggers the law of enchantment.
Oh, I see, it's right here.
An item becomes magical when a character rolls 60 plus on a test.
Okay, so if somebody rolls 60 or more, I'll play this card to allow any item, regardless of axiom, to benefit from the effect of magic.
So
so
say,
you get
for
to
example, if you were using your baton for an attack and you rolled a 60,
Baton.
it may actually, the law of
It's a riot
enchantment
stick.
Becomes a lightsaber.
well, becomes a magical sword.
Ooh.
Nice.
A
And so-
magical riot stick?
It says it becomes magical. Does it actually change?
It changes. So it just doesn't, enchant the item. It changes the item to fit the reality. So it, like I said, using your riot stick, it would become a sword. Or
Interesting.
possibly a magical shillelagh.
Or a lightsaber. I'm voting for you. I'm rooting for you. Well, for fun, I'm going to go ahead and play my card.
Didn't you play the Kanawha security force in Pan Pacifica? That
You happen to fuck this up?
yeah.
That was Dave.
Sorry, I'm not trying to form patterns here. All right? So I'm going to play this one that says trap. So a deadly trap or hazard appears somewhere in this act. It affects one of the party randomly and deals one BD. What's BD?
Bonus
Bonus
die.
Bonus
die.
dice.
One bonus die wounds. These
Baby
wounds
daddy?
may be soaked normally. Gain 3 possibilities after the trap is resolved. So that could come in handy. An extra
just to
3
let you know,
possibilities.
so before you play,
Uh-huh.
bonus die means that if I roll the infinity, it adds.
Okay.
And so it is not just, wounds, it's wounds. So it's not a roll. it causes that many wounds. How many wounds do you guys have?
I have 3.
I think we all have 3.
We all have 3
So
wounds.
this could kill you.
But it may just be a hazard that we avoid. All right.
He's just trying to kill us on day
do we want
1.
3 extra possibilities that we could share across
I would
the
say
table?
save it.
Well, we want to play. So an act. How long is an act? Is that basically like the adventure, or is that just like the scene?
It depends on how the adventure is broken up. So the scenes are different. So right now you're in scene 1,
Okay.
but we're also in act 1.
All right. I'll hang on to it for now, but know that hey, I could always use this, and I don't know if it'll be a better opportunity to play it or not, but the 3 possibilities, if we end up needing them, may be good. So, and this thing doesn't necessarily mean that trap presents itself immediately, right? It just means
No,
that
it just says it has to go off in the act.
in the act,
Yeah.
so you've got kind of a feather in your cap to do something. Yeah.
Right. So when it triggers, if it's within the act, then that's
Okay.
going to be at my discretion.
Okay.
And storytelling, think of Torg. Torg is not necessarily the like storytelling book. This is the action-packed movie.
It's like a choose your own adventure book.
Well, it's more like that choose your own action movie.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So, all right. So we have 1 Cosm card that's in play.
Yes.
Great.
So, if one of us casts a mishap during a spell,
And that card kind of soaks it.
the opposite of the intended effect happens based on the GM's call, and then we all gain 1 possibility once it triggers.
So, as you guys are moving forward and looking up in the sky, you start powering closer. Everybody roll me mind.
8.
So I
All right,
have 4.
remind me how this works.
So roll a die,
Okay.
find the number at the bottom,
Okay.
and add or minus that to your mind.
All right, 13.
13,
All right, so 14.
14,
Yes.
7.
7. So
I'm going to throw these dice away.
Those are the glow in the dark ones.
Yeah.
those who roll 10 or 10 and higher, as you're getting close, you notice that the scene on the beach, something is wrong. Something's out of place. It looks, the equipment there looks to be, maybe broken down, just disheveled. You're not seeing somebody waiting for you, as was laid out by Agent Jones. Something just looks amiss.
And it worked beautifully because it's the 2 low-tech ones that notice it.
Yeah, actually, that falls
I asked
into
the
greatness.
driver of the boat, where is shouldn't there be someone on that beach to receive us?
He's like, yeah, absolutely. And in mid-sentence, he kind of stops, and he's like,
Turn the boat around.
that
There should be conveyances. Horse, I believe it's called.
you don't see any.
Is a horse small?
There are no horses on the beach at this moment. This is not what should be.
Perhaps you should turn the boat around and we reconvene with.
My orders were to
Jones.
drop you off, but you can hear some of the stress in his voice. He does slow down, and just but still continue to go forward. As you guys get closer and you start looking, you appear what sees to be a battle's occurred, and as you look, you can see 3 bodies laying on the beachhead. And
Neat.
with that, we'll go and close down this opening session. Come back next week.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on another NCRP Productions podcast. We couldn't do this without you, so please like and subscribe everywhere we're found, including YouTube, Facebook, Anchor, Google, Apple, Spotify, and other great podcast sites. If you'd like to help us continue making more content, we'd love to have your support on our Patreon. And if you have any feedback for us, please feel free to comment on our podcasts or email us directly at ncrpproductions@gmail.com. And we'd like to give a special shout out to our current patrons, our Siegson Employees of the Month, FS, Michael H., Michael P., and our Breaker of Seals, the Jones, Frank H., Christopher C., Matthew K., and the Lab. Trademarked. Thank you all. We truly, truly appreciate it.